I think Kobys' growth in the final saga is going to be huge. And I'm here to talk about just that. Hello and welcome. It's me, Marls44, and welcome to this One Piece theory about Kobys' growth in the final saga. So Kobys as a character, he's grown so much throughout, well, the entirety of One Piece. He went from a wimpy little kid like this to this when he met Luffy at Post-Water 7 to this, after time skip, and it's crazy. And I'm here to talk about how much farther he is going to go in this final saga, and what I believe personally has a good chance and will likely happen in some sort of way. So just as a quick heads up, this video contains manga spoilers. Of course, don't forget, if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, I actually want to really quickly recap his whole situation from the beginning of One Piece to now. First, as we see in episode 1, he's just a wimpy little kid who's getting pushed around by pirates, and pretty weak pirates, and Luffy shows up, helps him out by encouraging him a bit, and sharing his dream with Kobys, and then proceeds to beat up Alvida, who is the captain of the ship, pretty easily as well. Before that, Kobys ends up speaking out against her, which is his first big step to growth. And it's crazy that, we've already gotten some growth for Kobys right at the beginning of the series, in the first episode. And that is great. It shows, in a way, just how fast this kid is going to grow. And then he of course ends up joining the Marines after the next couple episodes and gets trained by Garp, and Helmeppo's with him too. But this is a video about Kobys, not Helmeppo. Helmeppo, you're cool now too. Maybe we'll do a video about you someday. But Kobys, you're the one we're talking about. So to the background, Helmeppo. And then we get to Kobys at Post-Water 7, and man, has he grown a lot, both physically and mentally, and well, how strong he's gotten. And I mean, it's only been around a little over a month in the One Piece world timeline, so it's crazy that he's grown that much. He had his growth spurt. He was at that age, I guess. And you could tell he's gotten a lot stronger. He's able to use some of the CP9 abilities, like Shave. But, of course, he's still no match for Luffy. So he still has a long way to go. And then we don't see him again until Marineford. He gets punched by Luffy. Pretty much gets one shot. However, a little later on, in Marineford, he ends up unlocking Observation Haki. And from how things played out, it looks like Kobys' Observation Haki is very strong. And again, he rises up against someone who has more authority than him and who is above him, Akainu. That's another thing too, that's like, wow, Kobys, you just... look at you go, man. Look at you go. That's amazing. And then we don't see him again until Reverie, where he saves Rebecca. And you could tell he's even stronger now as well. This is after the time skip, of course. So 2 years have passed, and in a month, he got pretty strong. So yeah, he definitely leveled up a lot more. And then we get to the most recent stuff, where Kobys went to go try to capture Hancock, and then Blackbeard showed up, and Blackbeard apparently captured Kobys, and now Garp is going to save Kobys. And we don't really know how strong Kobys is still, but he probably would have been able to either capture Hancock, or it would have been a pretty close battle, because she's very strong with her haki. Her haki's insane. It's a bit of a toss-up about who would win there, I think, as in this moment. So now that we've covered that little recap about how Kobys has grown up to this point, I want to cover what I think will happen. It is crazy though that Kobys went from a cabin boy to a captain in like no time at all. I think soon he will become a vice admiral, and more than that, honestly, soon enough. But very soon, I think he's looking like he's going to become a vice admiral. And what I think is going to happen with Kobys' growth is, in this moment with chapter 1072, Garp is on the way to fight Blackbeard to get Kobys back, because Koby has been captured by Blackbeard, as I said. Although I think with this sequence of events that is probably going to play out, I think it's going to affect Luffy as well, not just Koby, but Koby is the main topic here, and I will mention the little things that could affect Luffy as well. So first off, the first thing I think is going to happen is when Garp goes to save Koby, Aokiji is going to help Garp out, because he's probably also a member of Sword, if not the leader, or Garp's the leader. But Aokiji will probably turn on Blackbeard, and they'll end up fighting, because, you know, Garp probably needs help against someone like Blackbeard. Blackbeard's very, very strong at this point. We don't really know how strong, but from what we could tell from really actually being scared of him, it's pretty frightening. They're going to fight. There's going to be a big, big battle, and I do hope we get to see the battle, but I think with that battle, Koby is probably going to get freed. However, Blackbeard is probably going to try to kill Koby, similar to how Akainu tried to kill Luffy. Garp will shelter him, not letting the same thing happen. Like the same thing that happened with Ace when he wanted to protect him, but he didn't, and he regretted it, and I'm sure he wouldn't let that happen with Luffy again. And as we could tell, him heading there and trying to take on Blackbeard and not standing for this. And this is his way of saying, screw it, I refuse to let someone I care about so much and I hold so dear die again because of my job. But he's most likely doing this just as his own thing, and nobody gave him this instruction. He's just going. And he probably did form Sword because of this. As I said, like, I'm not sure if he's the leader or Aokiji. It's probably one of the two, but there's a good chance that he's the one who formed it because he realized that, you know, he can't let this happen again. He can't let stuff like this happen, not just to himself, but to other people. Because you saw how torn up Dawn was and other people were from all that mess that happened at Marineford. But Blackbeard is probably going to kill Garp in front of Koby, similar to the Luffy and Ace situation in Marineford. Koby will be stunned, shocked, and in a way demoralized because his mentor and the person he looked up to all this time, other than Luffy, of course, is going to die right in front of him, protecting him, because he's too weak. I don't think he'll be in a depression like Luffy was, but he's definitely going to be somewhat depressed. He'll end up getting off the island. Maybe Aokiji will help them out somehow with his whole ice thing and then making a huge wall of ice or something to just try to stop Blackbeard's crew for a bit as like the others get away, and he might get away as well. Not sure about that one. Koby and some of the others like Helmeppo will get away and they'll be able to get back to Navy headquarters. Koby will still be depressed and everything, like I mentioned, but I don't think it'll be as bad as Luffy was, as I said. So after Garp passes, after Koby goes into his sadness, I think we'll get a good backstory on Koby and learn more about his character and how he ended up being the way he was and is as well, about how he ended up in that position on Alvida's ship and how he was raised his whole life and why he's so scared and frightened and afraid as he is, but he wants to speak out and he's not okay with things. And I think it'll make Koby such a good character as well. He's already a good character, but I think it'll make him even better. And after that is when he'll get out of his slump after a bit, maybe talking to Helmeppo. Who knows? Who knows who he'll talk to, or he might realize some things. And he'll eventually come to realize if he wants to save people, if he wants to save, you know, his mentors and people under him and other things, he really, really, really needs to train, get stronger. And I think with this, Koby will actually push himself harder than ever. Maybe just as hard as Garp would have pushed him, but I think he'll probably push himself even harder than that. Understanding why Garp pushed him so hard, because there are people like this that are just insanely strong, like Blackbeard. It would be cool to see Koby training like crazy and become a Vice Admiral that way, because it would just kind of make sense in that regard. But I think more than likely, because of that whole battle with Blackbeard that Koby and Helmeppo probably participated in, they'll both become Vice Admirals that way. While I was talking about Koby training to become a Vice Admiral before, Helmeppo will probably train with him, not as hard, but he will probably also become a Vice Admiral. But then, as that's going on, Navy Headquarters receives some word, and now they're only admirals, not including the Fleet Admiral, of course, but the only admirals are now Fujitora and Greenbolt, because either A, Luffy found out what happened to Garp, and it sends him into this mass outrage in his Nika form, he loses control of it and ends up either killing Kizaru or harming him enough that he can't really fight as an admiral anymore. Or B, they receive word about Kizaru going to help Sentomaru, and now in a way he's kind of helping out like Luffy and the Straw Hats because of it, and now it kind of turns into okay, yeah, he can't be an admiral anymore, and he might just not be part of the Navy anymore. Or C, something else, maybe something to do with one of the 5 Elder Stars while Kizaru is on his way there too. Something happens when they both arrive there in the fight with Luffy or something, and maybe one of the 5 Elder Stars attacks Sengoku, and Kizaru's like, hold on, no, don't do that, and he like protects him. Who knows? There's a bunch of different things that could happen, but I think Kizaru will probably be relieved of his admiral position soon in some sort of way, and that will open up a spot. That spot is what's important here. Because with that spot open, the government is going to allow the vice admirals to apply in a way to become the new admiral. Koby is going to train like mad. If he wasn't already training like mad, he'll be training even harder. And if he wasn't training like mad, then now he'll train like mad to get into that admiral position. I think Helmeppo will train as well for it, but I do think he'll kind of let, Koby go for it. Koby will probably have a couple other people who are his competition, like maybe like 3 people, and they all kind of have to prove themselves. But in the end, as much as Akainu doesn't like Koby, especially for speaking out against him in Marineford, I think it will be very likely that they will see how strong he is, and Akainu will also see something he can do and use Koby for, since he doesn't like him that much. So he'll kind of end up agreeing and allow Koby to become an admiral, and then Koby will be gifted a fruit by the government, 1 fruit in particular. So because we know that the Sun God fruit, the Nika fruit, exists, there is a high chance, and a lot of people have speculated this, that the Earth God, the Forest God, and the Rain God all exist as well. So I think the government will most likely have 1 in their possession, more so to use it if they need to fight against the other god fruits if they want some help. And I think Koby is the perfect fall boy because Akainu is just like, sure, I don't care if he fights the other gods and dies, I don't like this kid. I personally think that Koby will be given the Forest God fruit. It makes the most sense for him, on top of some of the others just make more sense with other people, which I will make a video about soon enough as well. So stay tuned for that. But I think they'll use him as their fall boy for that. So with all that progress he's made to become an admiral, now as an admiral he trains his devil fruit like crazy, awakens it, unlocks advanced armament and observation. And if Koby doesn't actually end up eating a devil fruit, if they don't decide to do that, but they decide to use him as a fall boy still, because Akainu doesn't really like him, but he recognizes his strength, and just kind of uses him as a fall boy to try to take down Blackbeard and Luffy, or at least weaken them in some sort of way. I think that's possible too. So there's a chance, Koby just doesn't eat a devil fruit, but I think it's more likely than not that it would make sense that he ate one of the god fruits and the government was just keeping one, just as a safety precaution of like, okay, we need to use this on someone young who we can kind of control, just make them kind of attack the other god users so we can try to get some control back in this world. But I do still think there's a possibility that he might not end up eating a fruit, and he'll just be in that position anyways as a, yeah, let's just use him for this. More so because Akainu would want to use him that way anyways, so it works out for him either way. So in the battle getting to Laugh Tale, Blackbeard will probably be confronted by Luffy and Koby, who both end up there, just out of nowhere at the same time, both ready to fight him. Luffy upset about Garp, and not just that, the fact that Ace was thrown in jail because of him and got killed in a way partially because of Blackbeard, and Koby angry about Garp as well. And we will get a mirrored battle of what happened so long ago at God Valley with Rox, Garp, and Roger, except we get their successors who have all past them in strength. So we will get an even more epic battle with them. Now, this won't be the final battle with Blackbeard. I think at some point throughout this huge battle between the three of them, it'll be crazy, it'll be insane, no matter if Koby has a devil fruit or not. It'll be nuts. And near the end of the battle, somehow, some way, Koby will be too weak to continue, and Blackbeard will escape. Luffy will maybe try to help him, and Luffy will end up having to fight Blackbeard on his own later as the final battle for him. Or as one of the final battles. One of the two final battles. Hi Emu, how's it going? I think, of course, Blackbeard makes sense as the actual final opponent for Luffy, but that's another story for another time. And after all that, after everything's said and done, after the world government is taken down and in a way rebuilt anew, because Koby will probably rebuild it with Helmeppo. Helmeppo will probably become an admiral, and Koby will technically be the fleet admiral while also being in command of the entire navy. Koby will take over the whole thing, and he will be the one in charge, making sure things don't become the way they were before, making sure they actually help people, making sure that lives matter. And I also think that pirates won't be as big of a deal. Sure, some pirates will be, the ones who cause terror and fear, people like Big Mom, Kaido. But ones like Luffy, others like Shanks, I think won't be. And even if they still are, I think Koby and, well, the Navy altogether won't be as mean or cruel to them, because Koby's running it. He knows what's wrong, he knows what's right. He's learned that, not just from Luffy, not just from Garp, but from himself, his experiences and everything. And as the commander of the whole Navy now, with Akainu gone, with the Celestial Dragons gone, with Blackbeard gone, Eam gone, he will fix what has been done wrong for so many years. And I think it'll be wonderful if we get a fight with Luffy and Koby after all of that, after all that's said and done. Especially too, if Koby did eat that devil fruit, that forest god fruit. Even if he didn't, it'll be great. It'll be interesting just to have a fight between friendly rivals. Not rivals who are out to kill each other, not rivals who are out to capture each other. Rivals who are friends. They recognize each other as equals. And Koby promised Luffy that he would someday come to capture him. And this could just be a friendly rival kind of thing. He never actually captures him. They just fight it out a bit. And after all that's said and done, after they're tired, they just laugh it out together as good friends and rivals. So that's my theory about what I think is going to happen with Koby and his growth in the final saga. It makes a lot of sense. He wants to become an admiral. He's probably going to be in charge of the whole navy after everything's said and done. And I don't think he's going to really capture Luffy, but I think they're going to duke it out as a friendly rivalry kind of thing. And I think all this growth that I've talked about too makes perfect sense, the way he ends up getting where he gets to. But that's just one man's theory, and I'd be interested to see what you guys think about not just this theory, but any other kind of theory with Koby. So please let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you guys in the next one.